Iowa defeats Northwestern 80-79 at Iowa. It was a huge game. Josh Dix hit a three-pointer at the end of the game. At the end of the game, with less than a second left, it was a thriller. Looked like the game could have been over at halftime. Iowa was up by 11 points over Northwestern, but Northwestern crawled their way back. I was questioning whether they were going to be able to do that or not. Northwestern typically plays a slower brand of basketball that does inhibit them from having enough possessions to come back on a team like this. But credit to Northwestern, they were able to make it happen regardless. They did a really good job of coming back in this game. Iowa's offense started to get worse in the second half. It started to slow down. They started missing shots that they were making in the first half. And so it definitely gave an opportunity for Northwestern to come back in this game. If it wasn't for the buzzer beater shot by Josh Dix, Northwestern would have had a win in this game. Let's review and talk about what happened in this one. So the first half, Iowa was just unstoppable. They had a run at the beginning of the game, 13-3 run. They had tons of offensive firepower, and Northwestern, they were just drowning and drowning and drowning. Every time felt like they came up for a little bit of fresh air, Iowa would just shove them right back down under the water again. Northwestern stayed alive after the first half. Don't get me wrong, but in the first half, it was a drowning session for Northwestern. A bunch. Players like Josh Dix, Owen Freeman, Payton Sandfort were crucial. They were hitting everything. Josh Dix, in particular, he was somebody that got really hot, especially at the end of the first half, scoring very well. Iowa had 45 points at the end of the first half, and 34 of those 45 points came from a combination of Dix, Freeman, and Payton Sandfort. Now, Freeman was pretty unstoppable to the Northwestern defense as well because of his athleticism and his way he was able to get to the basket. Matthew Nicholson really just had no answer for trying to be able to guard Owen Freeman, whether it was down on the post, whether it was out on the perimeter, whatever he was doing, he was getting the best of Matthew Nicholson in that matchup. Iowa shot 65% from the field in the first half and 55% beyond the arc. Honestly, you're just not going to beat very many teams if they're shooting 65% from the field and 55% from beyond the arc. Iowa's defense was disruptive of Northwestern's offense, forcing turnovers that led to fast break points as well, just getting a ton of possessions, doing anything and everything that they could. Northwestern, they struggled, poor shooting, turnovers. They plagued the Northwestern offense early, allowing Iowa to build a 17-point lead at one point in the first half. Players like Barnhizer and Nick Martinelli struggled, but they started slow and they struggled, but contributed to keeping the Wildcats in the game in some key points, so that way they could make a comeback in the second half. Northwestern's defense was improved, limiting Iowa's scoring late in the first half and certain opportunities as well. Iowa wasn't really getting those fast break opportunities like they were before, and so as the game started to settle in, you saw Northwestern be a well-coached team. I mean, you have to give credit to Chris Collins here, adjusting throughout the game, seeing that the game plan they came in with was not going to work against Iowa. They just had too much firepower. They were playing too fast, and you really saw that begin to take shape more in the second half, because in the second half, it all flipped. There were much more pros for Northwestern than there were for Iowa, so the Northwestern comeback began to ensue. Northwestern surged back. Northwestern surged back with a 15-1 run to take the lead 55-54 with 11 minutes and 32 seconds left in the second half. That was surprising. I thought it would take them much longer, but the way they were scoring, the way they were getting the ball down the court, and the way that they were stopping Iowa, it was huge for them. Brooks Barnhizer was absolutely fantastic. He led Northwestern with 21 points and 10 rebounds, a double-double. He had some clutch plays in the second half there as well. Ty Berry came alive, 20 points, hitting 5 3-pointers in this game. It was spectacular to see Ty Berry and his scoring. He also went 3 for 4 from the free throw line, shot 50% on the day, and Nick Martinelli, consistent scorer throughout the game, finishing with 19 points. When you see what the Northwestern offense was able to do in the second half, only 4 turnovers in the second half. Much better than what we saw in the first half, only 4 turnovers. They did get a little bit of foul trouble with Berry and Leach having some of that, but Berry was a facilitator in this one. 3 assists in the second half, doing a good job there as well. And just balanced scoring from Martinelli, Barry and Brooks Barnhizer, 12 points for each of them, all coming in the second half. You kind of saw the big three of Iowa scoring together in the first half, and then you saw the consistent working together and scoring of 36 points for the Northwestern big three in the second half. Iowa, they just played collapse. Their offense was not what it was before. Their defense was not what it was before. Iowa struggled offensively, going through a scoring drought and allowing Northwestern to take a 74-68 lead, and they would hold that lead for the rest of the game until it came to the end when Josh Dix hit that three-pointer. But Josh Dix and Payton Sandfort remain crucial. Sandfort hitting key shots to keep Iowa in the game. This is the kind of stuff that you can rely on as an Iowa fan when you have a future NBA player on your team. I'm not trying to discredit Northwestern at all. They just don't have that top-tier talent like Iowa does. And so even though Iowa is a team that maybe they don't, maybe I don't want to say that, Iowa is a team that has the top tier talent that they can lean on and they can rely on in these tough situations when maybe they're not playing as well as they were in the first half. Northwestern, it was huge for to hit their free throws in the first half, but they were 6 for 6 in the free throws in the first half. But in the second half, only going 7 for 10. Brooks Barnhizer was 4 for 4, but you did not get the same production out of Ty Berry, who was only 1 for 2. Matthew Nicholson, who was 1 for 2, and then Luke Hunger, who was 1 for 2 as well. Those free throws proved to be crucial for Northwestern to miss, and it was hard for them. Like I mentioned, free throws. Barnhizer hit his to give Northwestern a 78-75 lead with 21 seconds left in the game. Ty Berry hit another free throw to make it 79-77. Looking back on this, if Ty Berry had hit both of those free throws rather than just the one, maybe you're in a situation where Josh Dix hits that three-pointer, you go overtime, and Northwestern holds on, because I did feel like they were playing better overall basketball in the second half. Iowa just had that talent and had the athletic ability to stay in the game, even though Northwestern was executing better than they were. Josh Dix, after a questionable timeout, I didn't really understand what was going on there there at the end. I don't know. I try not to comment on that stuff too much because there could be a bunch of different things going on, but I kind of questioned it. I didn't really understand what was going on there. But after the timeout, with less than a second left in the game, Josh Dix hit the deep three-pointer, contested too. This wasn't one where they just drew up an amazing play. I mean, the play kind of just broke down, and it looks like Brock Harding, he kind of, I don't want to say he panicked, but it looked like his backup option was just get the ball to Josh Dix. He got the ball to Josh Dix, and all credit in the world to him. He hit that shot, won the game for Iowa in this one. Of course, bench goes crazy. The entire team. It was really good for that Iowa team to get that to happen. Iowa's execution in the final play demonstrated their resilience, even when the play didn't go exactly the way you wanted, even when they didn't get maybe the best look in the world. They were still able to put up the shot, get the shot to go in, and it was huge for them. If you're an Iowa fan, you're thrilled with Josh Dix, Payton Sandfort, Owen Freeman. I'm like, Josh Dix. He did what he always does. He scored points, right? He's not really much more than a point scorer. I'm not gonna disparage him and say he can't do anything else, but he puts up 22 points in this game. He did get himself 6 rebounds, so we're seeing him be a better rebounder. That's good, but only 1 assist in this one. Not much else you're going to get out of him. So, but seeing the rebounding there for Josh Dix is important as well. You didn't see that as much last year. If you can start getting more of that this year, that's going to be huge for them. Payton Sandfort with 20 points, 7 rebounds, as well. Solid two-way performance from him. Owen Freeman had 16 points in this one. Only 3 rebounds for him, but he did have 2 assists as well. Had 2 turnovers, so passing could have been a little bit better there. But overall, he dominated inside and was efficient in his scoring. Iowa shot 54.5% from the field and led fast break points 14-4. However, the cons of Iowa, those were evident as well. You can't be having these offensive lulls. The defense of Iowa, I mean, Iowa has some good players on this team, but they do not have good enough players to go through these offensive lulls because they just are not good enough on defense to combat those. And even a team like Northwestern, which has struggled at times to score this season, not a lot, but at times Even a team like that, you can have some offensive lapses and go through some lulls, and a team like Northwestern is going to come back on you. Even with some slower pace of play, they can adjust and do what they need to do. Free throw struggles as well for Iowa. Iowa shot just 57.9% from the free throw line, nearly costing them the game. Just not enough. Thankfully for them, Ty Berry missed that free throw at the end of the game, but if he hadn't done that, Northwestern or Iowa would have been kicking themselves that they didn't make the free throws that they needed to make. Northwestern, Brooks Barnhizer, I mean, he led the Wildcats with a double-double, including clutch free throws. He's just a dog. He's fantastic. I love watching him play. I love watching him take the lead and be the player that this team needs when he does that. It's really cool to see. Ty Berry, he found his shooting form in this one, especially from deep. Like I said, he hit 5 3-pointers. Yeah, 5 for 9 from 3 in this one, over 50% shooting from 3. Northwestern won the rebounding battle as well, 36-26, including 11 offensive boards. Northwestern is still willing to put their guys down low and have some of those rebounding battle. Iowa has gotten to the point now where Owen Freeman is not down low nearly as much as he once was before. And so Iowa is conceding that rebounding battle a little bit with just the way they're playing offense and the way that they're having their guys work for the ball on defense as well. Northwestern in this one, they had, where's my offensive rebounds? Northwestern in this one only had 3 offensive, or I apologize, had 11 offensive rebounds in this one, and Iowa they only had 5 total offensive rebounds. So just you need to get better rebounding if you're Iowa to not be in these kind of situations. We'll see how things progress from there, but 10 rebounds in the first half for Iowa. And then 11 rebounds in the second half. Or no, I apologize. I said 21. Those 21 total defensive rebounds. It's 26 total rebounds. I said that earlier in the show. So just need to be better in that area. The cons for Northwestern: slow start. You can't be having those kind of slow starts, especially against a team like Iowa. Now, thankfully for them, Iowa went through their offensive lull there, which was you can attribute to Northwestern's defense as well. So good job by them. But still, 12 turnovers in this game, just not good enough. You can't be missing throwing the ball around like that. Now like I said, they corrected that in the second half, and that was a huge part of how they were able to stop Iowa, because they weren't letting Iowa get those fast break points like they were in the first half. But still, something you need to be able to correct and fix for coming Big Ten games. So overall, both teams showed resilience. Iowa narrowly escaping the win. I mean, the score, final score here, I believe, tells the story. When you look at the box score and you see Iowa had a huge first half and then Northwestern had a big second half, like that's just the way it goes sometimes in basketball. Both teams made mistakes, but both teams played well. Really excited to see both of these teams work and continue on through the rest of the season. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody. We appreciate it. Come back Monday morning for the 10 a.m. Power Rankings episode with me and Kent. And then you can also catch us on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. for a big picture overall podcast of the Big Ten basketball as well and everything going on there. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. Have a good one.